Recording.
Big news, big news. The Epstein files just
I'm
came
begging you to
out.
Google yourself right now.
Why?
Just came
There's
out
this
like
AI called Deep
2 minutes
Search. It finds
ago.
everything about you online. I tried it, and I'm still freaked out.
Oh, come on, it can't be that
Just
bad.
2
Hi.
minutes
You just
ago.
open the app, go to web search, type
Just
in
And
two
your
now
minutes
it's
name,
time
ago?
to
and ask it what it knows. It pulls
2
It's
minutes
5
ago.
a.m. I got a butt full of
Now
poop,
it's time
but
to
I
react to
cannot peel myself away
Moist
from the computer to
Critical's
go take
thoughts
care of
on
that
the
business.
Epstein
I'm
files.
refusing nature's
Yay!
call, and it's not insomnia that's keeping me awake right now.
Controversial note.
We are in the
Several were
middle of
seen
what I
in
believe
the
to be
Epstein
an
files.
actual
What?
No.
big development
No.
here
That
in
Can you
was
see
the
this?
weird.
Epstein
That was
case.
weird when I saw
CoffeeZilla
that. I
just
didn't
made a
know
video talking
what to
about
make
this,
of
as
that.
well as
Dude,
giving
can you see
instructions
this on
on
the
how
screen
you
share?
yourself can get your hands on this latest
No,
dump of
the screen
documents
share is
that
black.
wasn't supposed to go out
What?
yet, but had been people savvy enough to get their
Yo,
hands
no
on
way.
it.
It's redacted too. No way.
They redacted the video.
They redacted the screen share.
Wait, can you see it now?
No. Hold on, let me exit out of the stream and go back in. No, it's still black.
Wah, 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 wah. We might just have to watch at the same time. I don't know. Let me try again. Oh, wait. Maybe I share entire screen. So you see stuff?
Alright, yeah, it's better now.
And if I go to the video, it's fine.
Yeah.
And now it's been disseminated.
All right,
and
let's
these
go.
are.
Let's
It's
go.
5 a.m. I got a butt full of poop, but I cannot peel myself away from the computer to go
Awesome.
take care of that business. I'm refusing nature's call, and it's not insomnia that's keeping me awake right now. We are in the middle of what I believe to be an actual big development here in the Epstein case. CoffeeZilla just made a video talking about this, as well as giving instructions on how you yourself can get your hands on this latest dump of documents that wasn't supposed to go out yet, but had been accessible to people savvy enough to get their hands on it, and now it's been disseminated. And these are some documents here that I imagine they were probably going to do a little bit more to
Can you
hide
hear and everything?
Yeah.
All right.
some names.
Can you see me drawing on the screen, or does that not show up on screen share?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Oh,
And
awesome,
hide
awesome,
certain
okay.
elements of, because hooey, boy howdy, I imagine Trump and a lot of the elites are doing this right now. Yeesh. There is some big stuff in here,
Wow.
and I'm not saying that sarcastically this time around. Yes, the vast
I'm
majority
gonna
is still
draw
like hundreds
our
of
characters
pages
here
of completely
reacting.
blacked out, redacted garbage, like
Okay.
it's completely useless. But some of them that they didn't get a chance to go through and just, fucking vanish to the shadow realm has eye-opening stuff that directly contradicts a narrative that the government's been running with for a while.
Here's what that looks like. It's volume 8 of the files, but you can see right now that they've only released 7 data sets. And so myself, the guys at Jmail, and the guys at DropSite, we've been investigating this. I've partnered with them to kind of look at some of these files. And they got access to volume 8 early. You would just type it in the URL. It wasn't like indexable on search, but you could just type in the specific URL and it would just come up. You could download the entire zip file, and that's what we did.
Before anyone tries to cry foul,
What?
questioning the authenticity of these
John, no,
documents
oh my
here,
God.
this is
Yeah, he's a
the
gorilla.
actual volume 8. They
sense.
just made
Right?
it accessible
I'm just the cat here.
by pure accident, because everyone that seems to be working at the highest level is actually like a thumb-sucking fucking brain-dead moron.
Specifically, I want to draw your attention immediately to the 10 co-conspirators
Right.
that are mentioned in some of these emails in 2019. Now, this is just alarming stuff, because prior to this, remember that all we really had was Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. That's the only people who have ever faced any charges at all. Ghislaine Maxwell, the only one who actually faced consequences, right? But in 2019, apparently there were 10 co-conspirators. Now, the people who were sending this to and from have been blacked out, but at the bottom we see that this is the Violent Crime Section, Crimes Against Human Trafficking Unit.
That is huge information, especially when you consider
Look at it.
clowns like Kash Patel saying that there's no evidence that Jeffrey Epstein was trafficking victims to others or anything like that, making it seem like it was a solo operation and Ghislaine Maxwell, was second fiddle and that's it. And also Maxwell, worth remembering, isn't exactly facing the harshest of punishment. Not real justice there now that
Right.
she's at a summer camp prison for a little bit, petting service animals. So, I want to also make a side note. Cash Patel needs to be in jail. Like, he literally needs to be arrested. I don't
That's
know
the
why
FBI
perjury
director.
isn't something that's taken seriously anymore.
Oh,
There is irrefutable evidence Cash Patel has lied on record about this case. It's crazy that he just gets to do that with pure immunity. But I won't start shitting and spitting about that too hard right now. The important thing about this piece that CoffeeZilla is highlighting is that we now have information that confirms that authorities were looking into other co-conspirators in this operation. Co-conspirators that clearly they must have dropped the leads at some point. They stopped sniffing around, said not worth pursuing, but at one point they did have other co-conspirators and apparently quite a bit of information on them, as the documents seem
That's
to
our
hint
mascot.
at and reveal and talk around.
Mr.
So,
P.
what
Mr.
the
P.
fuck happened, and why are they now
He
pretending
handles
that there aren't
the channel and the
co-conspirators when we now
finances.
have hard proof that there
I thought you were
was,
run-
and that they
John.
were pursuing for however brief
Well,
a time.
this guy's
And
above him.
additionally, some of the details on this are
Oh.
revealed later because we
I
see
thought
this
you're-
subject line. It says co-conspirators at the top.
CEO.
And it says blank does not need to head out. We made contact with blank last
John
night in New York
Pod.
City. Blank last night in New
That's,
York. Contact was made with
this
blank,
is John
blank, and blank.
Pod's-
By the way,
John
I love how
Pod's
these
dad.
potential co-conspirators are people who are being blacked out. Like, why? I thought the whole point of this was you couldn't redact
Mr.
people
P.
for personal information reasons or for public embarrassment. You could only redact on the basis of it being a victim, and I'm not sure how these people could possibly be victims here.
Epstein Files Transparency Act prohibits redactions, quote, on the basis of embarrassment, reputational harm, or political sensitivity. Has anything been redacted on that basis?
Absolutely, positively not.
It's really hard to hear you.
Plants for hire. His
What
nose
do you
about to
think?
grow fucking 5 feet with that big old fib. This is inarguable that they are redacting names
Mr.
of
P.
people
Oh,
that
can you hear
aren't
me?
victims
Yeah.
here. As
Can you hear me
CoffeeZilla
back?
points out,
Yeah.
these are co-conspirators. The
I was saying,
evidence is
do you
overwhelming.
remember
There's
during
no,
the fast
there's
food
no wiggle
episode
room here, no way to weasel
that we said we were run
weasel
by
out some
John
kind of
Entertainment, the
explanation
CEO
for
of
why
all
these would be
entertainment?
justifiably censored and blacked out and
Yeah.
redacted.
Oh,
these
so
are
I
thought we were
clearly
my
not
fault.
victims. This is about the co-conspirators.
John
So there
Entertainment,
should be no exceptions made.
wait,
Their
Mr. P
names
is, like,
should be revealed
over
here in these
just our
documents, but
channel.
they're not. It's been redacted. Why?
Yeah.
Who are they covering up for? And why?
And then his
This
son-
is illegal.
Yeah.
You cannot
John
do
Entertainment
that.
had
And
Han.
this is inarguably
Yeah.
them redacting
And then
names
his son is
of
John
people
P.
that are not victims. This is
John
it's
Pod.
craziness, and it's
John
so
Pod, I
blatant.
meant
It's
to
right
say.
in your
Yes.
face. Like, the proof is in the pudding, and yet I know people are going to deny it still. It's fucking unhinged. There is no world where you can spin a narrative here.
Voice critical,
where
can you please
these
stop saying that
redactions
word?
and these
We're gonna
places
get
make sense
demonetized.
because there's no way
Oh,
that what they're
God,
talking
it's so-
about right there
John
can
Entertainment
possibly
hates
be
this.
minors
I
or
gotta
victims.
censor him. I
These
gotta censor
are
him.
co-conspirators that are being protected. That's
Censor him like Mika.
fucking insanity.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
anyways, you
like
can
that.
see that it says attempts
Like
were
the
made
actual
to
files.
blank and Brunel. That's
Redacted.
Jean-Luc Brunel, the famous who's now dead. Blank is confirmed to live in New York, was away
Don't
for
say
the
that
holiday
on the
weekend. We did not
episode,
have a good
CoffeeZilla.
address, but an attempt was made in New York. Attempts are made to Maxwell
He had
today.
to bleep himself.
Blank. You get it. Like, it's already all the people they suspected this whole time are redacted, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And they say, I do not know about Ohio contacting Wexner.
Ohio.
Now, that's a reference to Les Wexner, the former CEO
Ohio.
of Victoria's Secret. This is huge. We've long suspected that he was, of course, one of the co-conspirators.
Don't say any bad
And
words.
obviously, the fact the FBI suspected it isn't a
We gotta cut him
100%
off. We gotta
proof
cut him out.
confirmation. But
So,
clearly, they were
We gotta cut
serving
him out of
grand
that.
jury subpoenas. I mean, that must be who they're talking about. One wealthy businessman in Ohio, because later it's confirmed by this whole idea of Ohio contacting Wexner.
Ohio, he
Most
said it
names
again.
are redacted. It's not
Oh,
all
he
of
said
them.
Ohio.
So
That's- isn't that
Wexner's
so
name
funny, guys?
appears
He said
here,
Ohio.
as well as Brunel. But
Average
as Coffee
files
mentioned,
redacted in
he's
Ohio.
dead. He's already burning in hell right now. But Wexner, this was someone that they grand jury subpoenaed, seemingly, and I don't think I've heard a peep about any kind of consequences or justice being served over there, or any kind of like pursuit on analyzing his connections here to all this, even though
Stop moving your
he is here in
face.
one of the emails here about being a co-conspirator. What happened there?
That's a really good black
The
circle.
well ran dry
Thanks,
or
I
something?
keep
Like, it turns out he
locking
was
in.
completely innocent? That
Why'd you
seems
give-
kind of hard to
why'd you give
believe. That'd be
the
a
key
surprising,
penis?
shocking twist, more so than a fucking
What?
Doorman video.
What do you say? You
I
can't
don't
say
know
that.
about that. That seems a
The
little
P
fishy.
to the left.
And again,
A mascot.
why
A chicken
are
mascot.
other
Why'd you
names
give him a
here
penis?
blacked out? Why are
I'm gonna have to censor you
co-conspirators
too now.
being protected? Why are
No!
their identities being revealed?
Erased everything.
Food for thought.
And you can see at the bottom, this is from the
I can't be
FBI New
censored.
York when you get a chance, give me an update on the status
you
of the
erased
10
me.
co-conspirators. This is really bad.
Oh,
To know
where'd you go?
that we knew as early as 2019 the right people to target, and yet our FBI, who's had evidence of this the entire time, or leads on it, has declined to prosecute, right? Because this is what the FBI now tells us. Oh, don't bother. Don't worry about it. That's what they wanted us to believe in July. Fast forward to December, we find out there's 10 guys that they knew about.
This is no
like, 6
smiling
years
matter,
ago.
Severial.
Yeah, it's insane.
It is insane
Why are you-
because their
why are
position
you
has
smiling,
been like,
Severial?
oh, there was
Why am I
nothing actionable
why are you
in
smiling,
there,
man?
so, you know, stop asking us. Just pipe down. We're busy covering shit up.
Oh,
Stop
God.
asking questions has basically been the philosophy. Our hands are tied. There was nothing.
Hold on,
It's all
hold
a
on.
hoax. Actually, no, the files are on Pam Bondi's desk. No, the files don't exist. It's all a hoax. Wait, actually, here's a ton of fucking files. Nothing's actionable, though. And according to Kash Patel, it was just Jeffrey Epstein. Nobody else. It doesn't go deeper than that.
I didn't say
That's it.
that. No, I
Case
didn't
closed.
say that.
It's a fucking mess. It's a complete.
What do you mean? You're
circus.
saying it right
And now that
I
we
think
have
Severial said
this
that.
kind of
I
information
think
out there,
Severial said
it's
that.
even more sickening to know that they are just
Guys, remember
blatantly
when Severial
protecting
said several
these
times that he was
pedophiles,
going to
these
the Capitol on January
evil people
6th?
that
I
engaged in
remember that.
unthinkably heinous actions. They are still getting away with it. And they know, and have known since 2019 apparently, that there are others out there, still at large, and are just not doing anything about it, and would instead rather lie saying, oh, there's nothing actionable or anything. Yeah, there was
John
really
P.
nothing in there at all. In fact, it was all
I guess-
make-believe. In fact, Jeffrey Epstein was
The
never
last
real in the
episode.
first place. Jeffrey
Yeah,
Epstein
why'd
was the
you do
friends made
that?
along the way. What are you guys talking about? It's so absurd.
No,
It is
Severial, no, don't do that.
downright
Don't do that.
diabolical. The corruption
Oh!
is right in your face. And even when we are getting drip-fed
Well, guys,
the tiniest
this is the last
tiddlywinks of
episode of
information
Beacon
about this
Pod
case
Podcast. We
that have
didn't
been
even make
heavily
it
redacted by you,
one
we are
episode.
still seeing
One
just how
episode
depraved
a
this
special.
is. There is so much evidence that they can't even sweep it all under the rug. We are still finding just how bad this is. Now just imagine what they're keeping from you and covering up and what they've already probably burned and fucking snapped out of existence. And imagine if they actually did follow the rules and only redact victim information. Just imagine how many people we could point to as blatantly corrupt and needing
That
to be
was
thrown
the
in
most
jail.
evil,
For the last
demonic,
6 years, having this kind of information and
disgusting
not
drawing
acting on it.
I've ever
And to
seen.
this day, having so many people in the highest levels of government denying its existence and trying to pretend that it's all fucking phony baloney, make-believe, dirty barnacles, horseradish, it's a hoax, it's not real, that kind of thing. Can you imagine if this information did actually properly release with only victims' information redacted?
Yeah, it's
Even
crazy.
over here, we see that in one of the lawsuits, I believe this is with Maxwell, the government actually wanted to refer to people at trial as co-conspirators of the defendant, aka Maxwell, for the purposes of a rule. And then they say Jeffrey Epstein, and then there are two names listed there who are going to be listed as co-conspirators.
All right, just ignore this.
Who are those people?
Yeah.
We were told that the only co-conspirator now is Maxwell, and if you don't believe that, you're crazy, you're a conspiracy theorist. But back in 2020, this was a idea not just promulgated by wackos, it was promulgated by
I wonder if you were to hit Control F
the
and then
FBI
type in
themselves,
6,
the Department
7,
of Justice. Look at this.
one,
Co-conspirator
like,
question
hits there
transcript.
would
This is
be.
from USA
On the actual
NYS. They say,
website?
question, when Jeffrey Epstein
On the
died,
Epstein
a lot of people
files,
asked,
yeah.
who's next? Is the government going to hold
should do
people
that.
who are accused of helping him recruit these girls? Are they going to hold them accountable? And then the answer is, well, I'll note that the original charges
But I would have
against
to
Jeffrey
move my
Epstein
screen,
contained a conspiracy
like
charge.
rotate it.
And we
I don't know what
allege
it's
that there
gonna
were
do to the video.
conspirators involved. Jeffrey Epstein couldn't have done what he did without the assistance of others.
do
And I
that
can assure
later.
you that our investigation is moving forward, except I guess not.
Okay.
Yeah, that investigation hit a brick wall. That investigation went off the tracks and fell into a fucking nitroglycerin facility and just blew up, because that shit has not been pursued clearly. As CoffeeZilla mentions, this idea of there being more than just Epstein and Maxwell, the highest level of authority has been saying, you're crazy if you believe that, you are falling for, nonsense fairy tale garbage. But even the FBI, years ago, was saying the same things internally here. And even agreeing that it couldn't have been done alone. They were even moving to call other people associated with this co-conspirators. Information redacted on those names there. But they knew certain individuals to target for this that they were going to be looking into with the investigation and assuring them that the investigation is moving forward on these co-conspirators, and then it doesn't. Why did it magically stop? What happened? What changed? And why, if all of this information is still at the government's fingertips, do they continue to lie and pretend as though it doesn't exist and that there's nothing here at all that the public didn't already know? They've already given out justice by sending Maxwell to a summer camp. That's all they can do. That's the only power they can muster here.
Did you start using Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, or Snapchat between the ages of 8 and 18?
Ah, you're gonna make me delete my drawing in order to skip this.
Eating disorders, body dysmorphia.
Well, I made a moist critical drawing.
You may qualify.
Yeah.
What's even more concerning is our president also seems concerned with the wrong people.
The victims were protesting that too many of them were redacted.
I know there are a lot of people that are angry about all of the pictures of other people.
Is this offensive?
I think it's
I don't know.
terrible. Look, I don't like I like Bill Clinton. I've always gotten along with Bill Clinton. I've been nice to him. He's been nice to me. We've always gotten along.
Skin
Respect
looked
him.
orange for a long
I hate to see
time.
photos
It doesn't
come
as
out
much
of him,
as it
but this
used
is
to.
what the Democrats, mostly
It looks more
Democrats and a
normal
couple
now.
of bad
Yeah, it
Republicans
looks very
are
red.
asking for. So
But-
they give me their photos of me too. Everybody was friendly with this guy. I think it's a terrible thing. I think Bill Clinton's a big boy. He can handle it, but
Oh, yeah,
you
he's a
probably have pictures being exposed of
But
other
not
people
have
that
sexual
innocently
relations.
met Jeffrey Epstein
That
years
won't.
ago, many years ago.
What an interesting perspective. That is a fascinating thing for him to harp on so much about, like, well, we got to think about all the innocent people that met with Jeffrey Epstein. That's that's what we should be focusing on, and how damaging and how traumatizing this must be for them, those innocent people that hung out with Jeffrey Epstein, all the lawyers and bankers and all of them. Heart breaks for them. Bill Clinton, I can't believe he got wrapped up in this. Love that guy. This is a
We do love
crazy
that guy, right?
set of
We all
circumstances.
love
He's
that
a
guy.
big boy, though. Side note,
Love
Bill
what
Clinton
guy?
apparently just put
Bill
out a
Clinton.
statement
Bill
this
Clinton.
afternoon saying release the entirety
I
of
don't
the
know.
files.
Uh,
So Bill
there's
Clinton's
no
like, let's do it,
solution.
pussy. That
I
was
love
a
this. He
crazy
basically-
plot
he
twist
just said,
I certainly didn't expect.
well,
because
wait
I
a minute,
can't
you were there
imagine
too.
a world where Bill Clinton isn't also wrapped up in this shit. I think that guy is beyond guilty. I bet he had a whole fucking lodge named after him on Epstein's Island. I find it hard to believe that somehow he'd
Isn't there
walk
a
out of this
thing on,
squeaky clean.
Call
Sounds like
Street
mutually assured
where it said
destruction
there was
here,
like
and
a
Bill Clinton's just throwing his
90%
meat on the
chance
table,
that
challenging him
Trump,
to do so. And I guess we'll
Yeah.
see how it all shakes
gave
out from there.
Clinton a blowjob?
The thing is that Coffee's
90
pointing
is
out,
crazy.
Trump's focus is more about
Maybe.
like, there's innocent people here. We have
Or
to
was
keep
like
in mind, think of
90%
the
of people
innocent
were betting yes.
multi-millionaire
Right.
and billionaires that
At the time,
didn't
yeah.
know Jeffrey Epstein for all the bad stuff. They just knew him for cracking jokes and stuff, and just being a guy, just being one of the dudes. Like, why is that what you're focusing on? Why wouldn't you instead be focusing on trying to catch all of the people that have just completely been swept under the rug? Why would that not be the focus?
That's true.
Why instead would you be pretending none of this is real, it's all a hoax? That's very
is real.
peculiar. I think that's pretty
real
concerning. And when you do have an opportunity to release the files, why are they so heavily redacted with hundreds and hundreds of pages completely blacked out? That looks very guilty. That looks like a really big admission of guilt.
Now, I'll be honest, he gets off track from here, but the point he was making is that those poor, innocent, bankers who were meeting with Epstein, the poor lawyers who were meeting with Epstein, like all of Epstein's friends are just caught up in this unfortunate thing. And it's just such a reversal of what previously the DOJ and FBI believed. In fact, they believed it so much that they got a federal search warrant for the SDNY, and they got it, and part of the
SDNY.
seizable data, part of the stuff that they commanded them to seize as part of the search warrant, and
500.
part of it says evidence concerning the identity or location of co-conspirators of Jeffrey Epstein, including Blank and Ghislaine Maxwell. So again, who is Blank? Well, they keep redacting the names of these
made him a girl.
co-conspirators, uncharged, remember, and now they're saying we have no evidence to charge anybody.
Yeah,
Clearly, they had evidence for a search warrant, and it's just completely ridiculous that some of this stuff is redacted and that we're viewing the rich and powerful people who are mentioned as the victims here.
Once again, just
Pink
further
glasses and
evidence that they
lipstick,
are
fixing a girl.
indeed scrubbing the name of co-conspirators. These are not
Now he's a
victims or
priest.
minors that they are taking the names out of here. Thus, they are breaking the rules of how this is supposed to go. It is blatant, this cover-up. There is no world where that is somehow a victim there, yet their name has been redacted. Why? Why are they hiding the co-conspirators' identities? It's fucking outrageous. And people should be very mad about this.
You should make...
But I have no doubt,
either
again,
this
it's 5
or the
a.m. right now, so I haven't seen like the
prediction
full response to all of this now being out there, but I know there's going to be people that are butt-chugging the Kool-Aid to such an unbelievable degree that the delusion has fully taken hold that they're going to go through these.
Or the death prediction
Indeed,
you
a
did at the start of the
co-conspirator's
video.
name and many other examples of co-conspirators' names being redacted. Not victims, not minors. Unless they're trying to say that these names here are victims, these people that are potentially co-conspirators of Epstein, they're also victims, and in that case, you need to be institutionalized ASAP if that's what you think. That is a fucking crazy
have you been
take,
on yet?
But I guess it's not the most outrageous thing to picture someone
Have they
announced
your name yet?
Continues to just drive that point home,
That's my
where it
name
seems
for
like
what?
he's not even really focused on the actual victims of Epstein.
No,
and
no,
all
your
of his
name's on
clients.
the file.
He's instead more
We
focused
already
Wait,
on
you were
talked
there
about that.
too. You were there too.
Guys, we used
Really?
to
Wait a second.
watch the ball game
I
together with
didn't
Jeffrey
know
Epstein.
that
They
you
had
were
no
on there.
idea, and my heart
I
breaks
can't
for them. Oh, Bill
think of
Clinton.
a reason why you'd be on
playing a
there.
song
You know,
of
I
my
just like
world's
saw
smallest
you and I was like,
violin.
whoa, that's
Like he's just
interesting.
constantly
I wonder
bringing
why
out
he's
like,
on there.
oh, so many innocent people.
Hold up, you were
They're
there
getting
too.
wrapped up in
We
all
went
this
together.
Epstein hoopla. I can't believe we're
No,
still talking
no,
about
I
it.
wasn't. What
You're
do
a
you
bad
mean?
person
I
when
wasn't
you're
on
talking
there.
about it.
Yeah.
Which is something he did
It
say,
was like a
by the
school
way,
trip.
not too long ago. I highly
were-
recommend you go
School trip.
check out the rest of Coffee's
We were the
video.
victims.
He also gives you the tutorial on how you can get your hands on these
Yeah, I
files
saw
as
you
well
under
to
the
check them all for
victims
yourself.
page of the
Now, after
Epstein
combing
file.
through them, there were some other big
Yeah.
eyebrow-raising moments.
Victims
One of
tab.
them,
Yeah, it
Coffeezilla
was rough.
also tweeted out. This is from a U.S. attorney who wrote in 2020, Donald Trump traveled on Epstein's private jet
I was
many more
actually
times
one
than
of the
previously
redacted
has
names
been
on the
reported
victims tab.
or that we were aware,
Oh.
including during the period we would expect to charge in a Maxwell case. And then it concludes with, on 2 other flights, 2 of the passengers respectively were women who would be possible witnesses in a Maxwell case. We've just finished reviewing the full records, more than 100 pages of very small script, and didn't want any of this to be a surprise down the road. I noticed Trump's name in quite a few documents in this most recent volume. This has been one that is obviously pretty interesting because it's talking about his frequent flyer miles that he was accumulating with old Epstein Airlines, about how he had flown on the airlines far more than they had thought at the time. Now, whether that's before or after all the flight logs, which does show Trump flying on the planes quite a bit, I don't know. Maybe there's more that weren't on the flight logs. I'm not sure. Again, all of this is still brand new, and I guess as more gets combed through, we'll get more and more information. But like I said, I have been glued to this for hours now, and I really just wanted to yap about it because there is some crazy shit in here. This is finally, for the first time in a long time, big new information in regards to this case and people involved in it, and exposing a blatant cover-up of very important information from these files. Now, it's very late in the evening, and all of this is still very fresh. I have no doubt there will be a lot more that comes from this, so I'm just going to try and keep my finger on the pulse of it. I already have no doubt there will be a large number of people that'll plug their ears to it and downplay the significance. I already saw a crazy tweet from some psychopath named Mila. I have no idea who this troglodyte is, but they are now already singing a different tune about
me?
Why does anyone care about the Epstein files, which is something that was previously tried. Now, in the wake of all of this, it's being dusted off to try again.
Wow.
I truly hope there won't come a time where people start to say that this isn't a big deal, that this isn't something people should care about. This is a massive deal, and everyone should care about this because it implicates the people that control your life. The people in the highest level of power in this country that are actively making decisions on your life and how everything unfolds in this country. And if the people that are in these positions are these evil pedophiles that have been getting away with these crimes, then there's a huge problem there. They need to be held accountable and face justice.
I'm gonna draw the.
You shouldn't want to be ruled and controlled by people that were Epstein clients. Like, I don't know how insane people have become recently, where now they are with a straight face trying to say that Epstein isn't something you should care about. Get over it. That blows my mind. Mila Joy, I suppose, gets her joy from the suffering of children and does so with a big smile on her face. She doesn't care that children were being trafficked and raped by potentially the most powerful people in this country. She doesn't care. She doesn't want them unmasked or thrown in jail. She couldn't care less about that. That's pretty fucking unhinged, Mila. All I can do is cross my fingers and hope and pray that there's not a ton of people with a poison smooth brain like she has. I am hoping there's sensible people out there that are seeing all of this unfold in real time and finally having that come to Jesus moment, that eureka moment of, wow, there's something very, very bad afoot here.
Well, and then it went back down.
I'll stop yapping about it for now. I guess we'll see what else comes from Volume 8 here of the Epstein files. Huge hats off to everyone that played a role in helping preserve that initial dump of these files, because I have a sneaking suspicion when these are officially released, when they pop up again,
look like
they might not be in the same state. I'm thinking there might be further redactions to them. It's just a hunch. I guess we'll see. Anyway, that's really about it. See ya.
Simple. I only pay $10 a month for my internet connect.
That's about it. See ya. Hold on, we'll do the outro now.
The Department of
No.